most people think about ancient Egypt, they imagine pyramids, right? Mummies, pharaohs, and giant statues standing in the desert, right? Right? But over the last few decades, another question has started gaining attention. I mean, did the ancient Egyptians possess technology that was far more advanced than we've been taught? It's a question that has sparked countless documentaries, books, and debates. Some people believe that Egyptians had access to lost technology. I just think they had help from an advanced civilization or even extraterrestrials. But what does the evidence actually tell us? Pay attention, man. Let's find out. One of the biggest reasons people ask this question is because of the incredible precision of Egyptian construction. Take the Great Pyramid of Giza, right? Built around 4,500 years ago. It originally stood nearly 481 feet tall and remained the tallest structure on Earth for almost 3,800 years, right? Its base is astonishingly level, and its sides are aligned extremely closely with the four cardinal directions, right? Even today, engineers admire the precision of its design, right? It's a fact, though. And then there are the massive stone blocks, right? Some of the granite beams inside the king's chamber that weigh more than 50 tons. Other monuments throughout Egypt contain statues weighing hundreds of tons. Naturally, people ask, how did they move something that heavy without modern cranes or engines? Archaeologists believe the Egyptians used a combination of sledges, ramps, ropes, wooden rollers in some contexts, and thousands of skilled workers. In fact, paintings discovered in ancient tombs even show workers pulling enormous statues or wooden sledges while another worker pours water onto the sand. Imagine that. Modern experiments have demonstrated that wetness, the sand can reduce friction, making it easier to move heavy loads. Imagine that. That's one mystery with a surprisingly practical explanation. But not every question has been answered. Take the granite boxes inside the Serapeum, Saqqara. These enormous stones, coffins weigh up to 100 tons and are carved with remarkable precision. Some researchers argue that their smooth surfaces and sharp angles suggest machining far beyond what ancient people should have been capable of. Archaeologists, however, point out that skilled craftsmen using copper tools, stone pounders, abrasive sand, and countless hours of labor could achieve an extraordinary level of precision. It's difficult, time-consuming, but not impossible. No, I mean, then there's the question of cutting the granite itself. Granite is one of the hardest natural stones on Earth, right? So copper is much softer to those that don't know. So how did they do it, right? I mean, the answer appears to be that the Egyptians didn't rely just on copper alone. Think about it. Evidence suggests that they used copper saws and drills together with quartz, sand, and abrasive material hardened the copper to gradually wear away the stone. Experimental archaeologists have successfully demonstrated versions of the process. Look, but look, check this out. That doesn't mean every detail of Egyptian engineering hasn't been solved. It simply means there are practical methods supported by evidence. Now let's address one of the biggest claims you hear online. Are you ready for it? Did the Egyptians have electricity? Some people point to a relief at the Temple of Dendera that resembles a giant light bulb. Others argue it proves the Egyptians had electrical lighting. But Egyptologists interpret those carvings very differently. According to mainstream scholarship, the relief depicts religious symbols connected to Egyptian mythology, not electrical devices. So far, no verified evidence of wires, generators, power stations, or electrical systems has been discovered in ancient Egypt. So, could future discoveries change our understanding? Of course. Archaeology is always evolving. Every year, researchers uncover new tombs, inscriptions, and artifacts that teach us more about the ancient world. But based on everything we've discovered so far, the evidence points to something that's already incredible. The ancient Egyptians weren't magical. They weren't aliens. They weren't brilliant engineers, mathematicians, architects, artists, and craftsmen who spent generations perfecting their skills. No. Sometimes we underestimate some ancient people because they didn't have modern machines. I want you to think about that for a second. But intelligence isn't measured by computers. It's measured by creativity, organization, persistence, and the ability to solve problems with the tools available. Maybe that's the real lesson Egypt teaches us. Not that they possess mysterious technology, but that human beings are capable of extraordinary achievements when knowledge is passed down from one generation to the next. Hello. Look, the pyramids, the temples, the statues, they aren't just monuments to the past. Hello. They're reminders of what determination, skill, and imagination can accomplish. And look, and honestly, look, that may be even more impressive than any mystery. Look, if you enjoy exploring ancient civilizations through history, archaeology, and evidence, subscribe to the Conscious Signal. Because the more we learn about the ancient world, the more we realize just how remarkable our ancestors truly were. Till next time.